the USS Pickering disappears en route to Delaware, carrying 90 people. In 1814, the USS Wasp vanishes, along with 140 passengers. And in 1921, the Carroll A. Deering is lost and ultimately found abandoned near North Carolina. But the actual location where the vessels go missing isn't defined until 1964.
Journalist Vincent Gaddis catalogs some of the strange goings-on in an article, and he finally comes up with a name for this mysterious area.
He calls it the Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle covers about 500,000 square miles of the Atlantic Ocean between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. It has claimed numerous victims.
As the losses have piled up, the area has become infamous, legendary worldwide even. Everyone knows about the Bermuda Triangle, but yet nobody knows what's going on over there.
There have been a number of different theories. One of the earliest comes from Christopher Columbus.
Columbus is actually one of the first Europeans to cross through the Bermuda Triangle in 1492, and wouldn't you know it, he almost immediately encounters a problem.
The Santa Maria and her sister ships get stuck in an abundance of algae, which, in Columbus's diary, he refers to as weeds. The ships are stuck for 3 days, and the sailors become paranoid and panicked. They fear running aground or being tangled in the weeds and being dragged to the ocean floor.
The crew would eventually manage to cut their way out, but they remain convinced that this is a dangerous area, all thanks to highly unusual seaweed. What Columbus and his men call weeds, scientists eventually name sargassum, from the Spanish word sargazo, meaning seaweed.
The area ultimately becomes known as the Sargasso Sea.
The Sargasso Sea measures about 700 miles wide and 2,000 miles long. It takes up about 2/3 of the Bermuda Triangle and is full of these dense mats of sargassum.
If you get stuck in it, the sargassum wraps around the rudder so you can't steer, and barnacles begin to grow on the ship, slowing it down.
But getting stuck is just one small part of the problem.
When sargassum groups together and begins to rot, as it decomposes, it produces hydrogen sulfide gas. This gas smells really awful, like rotten eggs, and it's toxic.
If you breathe in this hydrogen sulfide, it can irritate your eyes, your nose, and your throat, but it can also cause some serious psychological issues if inhaled for an extended period of time, possibly even insanity. Obviously, just getting tangled in the seaweed could explain a disappearing or a wrecked ship if it's stuck out there for long enough, but when you take into account this psychological effect, this might explain the wilder Bermuda Triangle stories.
The problem is, this doesn't solve all the mysteries of what's been going on here.
Could another sailor's tale offer a different explanation?
It starts off as something of a legend among weather-hardened, sea-weary sailors. As they share stories over a pint in the pub, you may hear a tale of some enormous wave as big as a mountain, capable of destroying a ship, sweeping away its crew, or just swallowing it whole.
The proof comes on New Year's Day, 1995.
About 100 miles off the coast of Norway, there's an oil drilling platform called the Dropner. In addition to its main equipment, it contains a whole slew of instruments that can monitor wave height, slope, acceleration, etc.
On January 1st of 1995, a laser rangefinder on the bottom of this oil drilling platform measures a wave headed for the Dropner.
The Dropner wave, as it becomes known, seems to come out of nowhere and measures 85 feet high. It has characteristics that don't fit any previous wave model.
Researchers have found that rogue waves differ from regular waves in a few ways. First is that they are greater than twice the size of surrounding waves. These things are massive, and they are also notoriously unpredictable and arise unexpectedly from directions other than the prevailing wind. So these things could potentially come from anywhere.
These rogue waves, because they are so gigantic, so tall, so steep, and moving so quickly, they can carry up to 16 times the amount of force than a regular wave.